Elon Musk suffered a humiliating demotion tonight by Donald Trump when Donald Trump announced that he would give Elon Musk a job that does not exist and will last at most 18 months.
It does feel like a bit of a blue ribbon panel just to satisfy Musk. Also, sort of the punchlines write themselves, where it's about government efficiency, and yet they have two people leading it.
I love it when someone says that. The punchlines write themselves. Yeah. Okay, prick, write them.
Yes.
Government efficiency super team assembling. DOGE is the department right now that people are talking about. It's a Department of Government Efficiency.
I love that.
And what's funny is the left can't even fathom that this may be a thing. I talked yesterday about baseline budgeting. Once you expand government, you never get it back. You never scale it back. And last night, Donald Trump announced Elon Musk and Vivek would be teaming up. They'll be involved with the Department of Government Efficiency. He said this on X. He said, "I'm pleased to announce that the great Elon Musk, working in conjunction with American patriot Vivek Ramaswamy, will lead the Department of, it's not important, of Government Efficiency, DOGE for short.
To the moon.
They will work together to liberate our economy and make the U.S. government accountable to we the people. I'm confident they will succeed." Now, here's the only reason to me that someone could be in complete meltdown mode over this department means they don't agree with the concept. And this is something that, of course, we fundamentally disagree. There's no finding common ground. When the left says we should only increase spending by this amount, by this multiple, and you have a good portion of the country who actually believes, and with good reason, that the government is far too expansive as it is, where do you find that common ground? The left will not cut down government size. The left will not make any changes as it relates to government efficiency. And let me, do you consider yourself a moderate? Do you think that one can be a moderate and say, yeah, we actually need to downsize government? Because to me, when I hear someone saying they're a moderate, I mean, well, I don't want to increase the size of government by as much as the next guy. So that is the basis for why the left can't even comprehend this. Complete blind spot. They are in full cope.
Elon Musk suffered a humiliating demotion tonight by Donald Trump when Donald Trump announced that he would give Elon Musk a job that does not exist and will last at most 18 months.
Yeah, well, we learned that, and this isn't that surprising, to be honest. We knew that Elon Musk wasn't going to have some big cabinet secretary position.
The fact that Musk and Ramaswamy are trying to cut down on government inefficiency, and yet it's basically a blue ribbon panel where they're soliciting ideas from the public. It seems to me it's only going to slow things down.
Donald Trump is not looking at people based off of necessarily their credentials for each given position. It's very much off of who has shown their loyalty. I mean, whether it's Elon Musk, Kristi Noem, across the board.
It does feel like a bit of a blue ribbon panel just to satisfy Musk. Also, sort of the punchlines write themselves, where it's about government efficiency, and yet they have two people leading it.
I love it when someone says that. The punchlines write themselves. Yeah. Okay, prick, write them.
Yes. That's inefficient. Ha ha.
And you know what? This is, first off, let me give you a quick fact check. This is exactly the position that Elon Musk wanted.
Yes.
And you know what? It makes sense. Hey, you have a guy, Donald Trump, who's saying, there's a vision for a new department. Let's appoint a visionary. In other words, no one even thought there needed to be a department to actually look at inefficiencies in the government.
Yes.
And so you pick the guy who has started things from scratch. And you know why those in media, you know why those in Hollywood, this is the dirty little secret that people don't want to tell you. You say, oh, Holly weird, people say. Well, no, let's look at why they are millionaires, sometimes hundreds of millionaires, if that's a term. And they're the only demographic of millionaires, of ultra wealthy, who consistently lean left. The reason for that is because they haven't had to employ anybody. They've never had to start a business. There's a huge difference between starting a business from the ground up, having to employ people, having to understand taxes, having to understand payroll taxes, balancing what kind of benefits you can provide to employees so that you can be competitive in the job marketplace while also balancing your checkbook. Instead, you have a lot of people in this industry who are college educated in media, in Hollywood not necessarily, and they're paid millions of dollars for something that God gave them, being good looking. Or having, yes, an actual skill, being a good actor, but that doesn't require any skill in understanding finance or business. That's why you have business owners, period, lean right, Hollywood millionaires lean left. That's the only difference. Never once signed the fronts of checks, aside from maybe an assistant.
Yeah. Well, and Elon Musk, I mean, he's the guy who, Twitter's still up and running, right? It's X now, but it still works? Okay, good. He cut 80% of the staff. The company's still doing just fine. You may not like the ad block that they've got going on right now, but that has nothing to do with the size of the workforce.
Right.
Elon Musk is the perfect guy to go in and do this. And by the way, these guys, Elon Musk is trying to get us to Mars. He's busy catching rockets. So having Vivek go in there with him as well as an entrepreneur to see what they can find, it makes perfect sense. And also saying, hey, I can only do this for 18 months because, I don't know, I'm trying to become the world's first trillionaire. I'm a little busy right now, but I want to make sure that the government's a little bit more efficient. And they're trying to dunk on him for that?
Well, think about it. He goes, and efficiency, and it requires 2 people. Yeah. How crazy is that? 2 people who likely won't even take a salary as opposed to over 70,000 new IRS employees. Where were you on that? Do you honestly believe that it couldn't have been 2 fewer? There, you just found the money for an entire department, ass face. I know it's childish.
It is a little.
Now, I'm going to get to some very specific examples because it's your money. It's my money. Don't you get aggravated when you pay those taxes? You're like, that's right. I'm paying for these 70,000 if I don't commit murder, which means I'm going to give you some examples of government inefficiency, of absurd spending, right? And we know that we're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars in debt, where what's another trillion? So I'm going to give you some very specific examples where hopefully we can find some common ground and say, yeah, okay, that's kind of beyond the pale. But for context, we really have lost sight of the role of government. And I've talked about this. The role of government is effectively to keep its team, its people safe, meaning external threats. That's where military is appropriate. Internal threats, meaning some kind of regulating force to make sure that your rights are not infringed upon by your fellow citizen. Outside of that, to make sure people are playing by the rules so they don't harm anyone else. Outside of that, they keep their whistle in their pocket. Like a hockey referee. That's the analogy. They don't need to be involved in everything. That's the context. You can say, okay, is this a legitimate purview of government? All right. That's where the conversation used to start. We are so far beyond recognizing the scope of it. I mean, you've heard the expression, too close to the forest to see the trees. Let me give you some context, okay? Think of the Boston Tea Party. When people say the founding fathers would have wanted it this way. Okay, they started a war because of taxes on their morning drink. Let me give you an apples to apples comparison as far as what the founding fathers would have thought. Imagine your morning energy drink going up by 2 pennies in taxes, okay? And so you start murdering people. Which, by the way, actually happened at the gas station this morning where I went. Yeah, I need to change neighborhoods.
Okay, well.
Whoa. I mean, to be fair, the cashier was British.
Yes.
I mean, the guy smiled and he saw it all.
And here's the thing. This is something, too, the left, you guys may not remember this. The left loved Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah,
he was the green car guy.
He was the darling of the left. Come on.
They used to call them Elon bros or Musk bros.
Yeah.
And we used to make fun of him because I thought that he was accepting far too much in government subsidies.
Yeah.
He was pushing the green energy policy, right? He benefited from a lot of these programs and a lot of these policies. And I also thought he was pretty innovative. You know, two things can be true at the same time. The left loved him. He was their darling. This is just a few years ago, which tells you it doesn't matter what you do. If you're a comedian, they just say, oh, you're not funny if you have the wrong views. If you're a genius, no, actually, you're a dummy. Here's proof.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk.
This is just 3 years ago.
Basically asked if there was anything positive that the Trump administration has done. And I want to tell our viewers your response. You said, quote, I'm encouraged, in fact, by the fact that the then president-elect met with Elon Musk, who is a true pioneer, does a lot of great work in my state with SpaceX, so I'm grateful to him for that.
Time magazine describes Musk as both clown and genius. The man who aspires to save our planet and get us a new one to inhabit.
It's perhaps no wonder Elon Musk was a source of inspiration for Robert Downey Jr.'s billionaire business magnate come superhero, Tony Stark.
Do you see Elon Musk then as a visionary?
Oh, without any doubt.
And we'll do an extended segment on this tomorrow because a lot of people may not remember just how much they loved him and were pushing for him when he was benefiting from government subsidies. We were talking about this back when Elon Musk was still depending on government subsidies and dressing as Satan for the Metro Gala or Halloween, whatever it was. I'm really glad that he's seen the light.
Gala?
Was it the Metro?
No, it's the Metro Gala. That's the one that's in the subway. It's a different. You wouldn't know, Gerald.
Well, you know what? I get an invite every year. I even get a save the date.
I
To
just
the
thought
Met?
you were like a
No, to the Metro.
To the
Gallery.
Metro.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's always
I was wondering why you weren't there.
It's hard to open the invitation to. It's
a little sticky.
A little sticky.
Yeah, well.
Let me give you 5 examples here of insane government spending. Again, to put this into context. Start with number 5. Okay. Weird science. So I don't know if you know this, there's $477,000 was used of your tax dollars to fund Fauci's transgender monkey study for people who don't remember this. Now, that's not a lot of money.
What?
That's not a lot of money, but it adds up, especially when you add up to that, your tax dollars, and all references available at louderwithcutter.com, link in the description. Every day, we always do $3 million to put a shrimp on a treadmill. Now, at first I thought it was worth every penny.
Yeah.
It's a sea roach.
But I don't know what we paid for because now the shrimp are still obese. So it didn't work. And hey.
Oh, come on.
It's always like the little arms. Always the little arms and the big belly.
And I know what all you people out there who work in science are going to say, well, this is actually really important. It wasn't about the shrimp on the treadmill. It wasn't a VO2 max thing. It was about how they responded to cold water. I could save you $3 million with 2 Home Depot buckets. Could be Lowe's.
Yeah.
2 buckets, toss some ice in one, toss a shrimp in both buckets, and call it a day. That's it. And again, for context,
some salt, I think.
when people say, well, you know what is important to study the habitat. Okay, imagine traveling back in time and telling our founding fathers, the Boston Tea Party people, right? Telling them about this. First off, they'd probably think you were a witch if you said $3 million. They thought that's more money that's ever existed. Then you would have to explain to them why you care that shrimp may or may not like the cold. And then you'd have to explain to them what a treadmill is. And they would blow your head off immediately. There would be zero hesitation.
Why don't they run outside?
Yes. Do these shrimps not have some sort of aquatic sidewalk?
You're telling me these fat people have these things in their house that they don't use?
Yes.
Clothing on them. What?
Wait. You need a machine to walk in the future? Do people not have legs? They use their legs to walk on this machine.
Have we replaced legs with shrimp legs? I don't understand.
Why are you telling me our future is filled with shrimp people overlords?
Have you tried putting wigs on the shrimp?
Yes.
Make them look better.
There would be no way to explain this to them. Taxes on tea versus $3 million for shrimp on a treadmill. Okay, let's go to the
over
next.
10 years, by the way.
It's over 10 years.
I don't want anybody fact checking us.
Let me give you a few more.
Okay, how many years? It's still so much money.
I know.
You know how much endless shrimp that could get you at Red Lobster?
Yes, exactly.
Thanks for justifying, Gerald.
I wasn't justifying. I was making sure.
Take that money, go to Red Lobster during Scampi season. Is that still a season? I don't know.
think so.
Yeah, they wasn't
Running
sure.
back for that.
Number 4. Okay. $5 billion to build 7 electric vehicle charging stations.
What?
7. $5 billion to build 7. To give you an idea, Tesla, the guy they hate, Elon Musk, who I believe did not get the contract for the giant the electric vehicle charging stations. Tesla superchargers cost about $175,000 each, or $28,500 for those superchargers, I believe. Or sorry, you could get 28,500 superchargers for that $5 billion.
As opposed to, so that's more than
As opposed
7.
to 7.
It's close.
Right.
So government,
That's
7. Elon Musk, dummy, efficiency, 28,000. If only we had an apples to apples, it couldn't be more clear. It's like, oh, what's he going to do? I don't know. Maybe start with creating 28,000 extra charging stations for the price that you're already paying.
28,493, Stephen.
Yes, exactly. I'm sorry.
Well, we rounded up. I think he can make it happen.
All references available. Link in the description. 28,500 for $5 billion. Elon Musk in charge. Government, 7. Let's go to number 3. I wasn't signaling through. I was just doing this with my hand. I know this is 3. $42 billion your government spent on rural broadband.
Okay.
That connected nobody to the internet.
Ooh. What? That can't be right.
Nobody connected to the internet.
0 people? Did they not bring it to homes?
Again, if only we had a comparison. Have you heard of Starlink? Oh, it's almost shaping up. You're going, oh, this makes a little sense. Okay, we're spending billions, on charging stations? You know what? The left, if you really want us to move to electric vehicles, which is dumb, but you want us to, no one else is going to be able to do it. You know how? No one else was able to do it outside of Elon Musk. And you chased him out of California. The electric car guy had to leave California.
Yes.
And now you're saying it's ridiculous that the electric car guy could maybe be in charge of government efficiency when they're spending $5 billion for 7 charging stations and $42 billion on rural broadband that helped nobody. We now have 2 specific examples that are in just that man's wheelhouse. And I wasn't even planning on this. I was just planning on picking the most shitty examples of government spending. No internet at all, 42, which was tough luck for South Dakota's Blue Balls County. They are still.
I just have to
look at the Wicked box set.
Farmers only. I guess you'll use dial-up.
Yeah, where'd that money go? They got to go north.
Here's number 2. $5 billion for 60 electric school buses.
Oh, come on.
$5 billion. These are just examples. And here's a reason
That's another one in Elon Musk. Like, ring, ring. Yes. Can you solve 3 of the biggest wastes of money we've ever had in government? Yes. Okay, bye. Like,
right.
It's done. It's done.
So if we have 60 buses, 7 chargers, that's... Nope.
A waste of money.
It's $10 billion is what it is.
Yeah.
And depending where you put them, the people who need to charge, when you have internet, to find out where the chargers are. Nothing would work.
Doesn't make sense. You're right.
Number 1, and this is a big issue here, is these giant no-bid contracts. This is a fundamental problem with government. The left used to hate it when they bitched about Halliburton and the Cheneys, but about 45% of government contracts basically have only one bid.
Wow.
Right? So it's pretty much a guarantee. So Boeing, to give you an example, they overcharged $4.3 million on spare parts, including an $8,000 markup on aircraft. I know what you're thinking. Aircraft, something like aircraft, I don't know, the engine. No, soap dispensers.
Have you ever used soap on an airplane in your life?
No.
Yes.
I go in, I touch everything, and I roll the dice.
No, you just use hand sanitizer after you get out of it.
No, you use soap, and there's a whole sink, Gerald.
I understand
It's a civilized
No, I
society.
don't. I'm telling you, I don't use any of it because the ladies love a man who lives dangerously. I go in, I lick the disposable razor.
Never used
thing, and I go back out and I say, yeah, you know what? I'll have my complimentary cocktail. I said an economy plus.
If I get out of there alive, I'm happy. You ever try to squeeze into one of those at 6'4"? Come on.
Yes, I can only imagine. $8,000 markup on soap dispensers. And again, remember Halliburton? Oh, sorry, 8,000%. Did I say dollars before? Or did I say percent?
Which is probably more.
Both times.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's percent. 8,000%. Admonish me.
Which is worse, by the way.
Of course it's worse.
Yes.
Of course it's worse. And remember, Halliburton got $7 billion in no-bid contracts with the Iraq War, right? They had these emergency repairs. They were able to do them in the Iraq's oil infrastructure.
Don't worry, they love the Cheneys now on the left. It's fine. Everything's good.
For 8 years of my life, the only word I heard from Democrats was Halliburton.
Exactly.
That's it. It was like a Chatty Cathy doll whose cord was broken. Just Halliburton. Hey, you're like, well, hold on a second. What about Al-Qaeda? Halliburton. You're like, all right, fine. All right, we're not going to get into
There's a snake in my Halliburton.
Yes, exactly. You're my best Halliburton.
Oh,
okay,
come on.
it's enough. It's enough. And this is the thing. This kind of, and you can comment below what you think are the worst examples, or really the best examples in this scenario. And I'll give you a couple of examples of how I actually think we could change this. Donald Trump has a real opportunity. Sometimes you think it's more complicated than it is. It's really not. Hey, we're spending too much. Can we reduce spending? The answer as it relates to government spending is 100% of the time, yes. There is no doubt that you could do it more efficiently. You could do a mental exercise. Think of the entire government in front of you, the entire federal government, under the legitimate purview of the executive branch, okay? Anything? Okay, think of, could we make this more efficient? Point at anything. Yes! That's the answer. It's just, could you reduce it by 99%? In which case you're looking at an 8,000% markup for soap dispensers from Boeing. Could you make it more efficient by reducing 50% waste? It just comes down to what percentage. And I mean this. If there could be a challenge, I bet you Donald Trump, I bet you DOGE could go into any department of government and make it at most half. And you would not be able to discern the difference in your day-to-day function. Nobody would. Government spending is exactly what infuriates Donald Trump's new press secretary, Nick DiPaolo.
And if you could just talk broadly about what Trump has also said about making Musk the head of a new government efficiency commission. Does the White House see that as a conflict of interest, given the fact that Musk's companies have so many contracts with government agencies and potentially given the power to regulate the agencies that hold sway over his own company?
You don't have a problem with Honeywell and people who make missiles and stuff. You're only bothered when it's Trump. I mean, it's a silly question. What was the specific question? Anybody paying attention? I fell asleep on that one.
Does the White House see that as a conflict of interest, given the fact that Musk's companies have so many contracts with government agencies?
Can I ask you a question? Elon Musk, you know what he does for fun? He builds rockets. He doesn't only shoot them off, he catches them on the way back. When's the last time you caught something, a rocket on the way back? Like maybe in a fight with your husband in the bedroom, whip that thing at you. How can you have a problem with it? That's what he does. Elon Musk, you look at all his companies, they're a fine machine. There's hardly any fat on them. You realize the United States of America is a corporation. You're the ones who always say that. It's all about money, money, money. Yeah, it is. Who better than Elon Musk? Look at the red tape. Do you know we spent $450,000 last year to see how fast shrimp run on a treadmill? That's an actual, I didn't make that up. And not a fried shrimp, an actual shrimp. Not boiled, not peeled and deveined. A shrimp running on I didn't make that up. Running on a treadmill. You guys spent money on that. So if Elon comes in and says that's a waste of money, you're going to argue with that? What conflict of interest? Corporations and the American government work hand in hand. Well, since Obama got in, by the way, that's how socialism works. Y'all should read more. I read a lot. Not as much as Tim Waltz, but I don't really care what Cub Scouts wear under their suits.
It needs to happen. Here are a few suggestions, and I'd love to hear yours below. Well, crowdsourcing, or as the left says, they refer to it as stupid, because you're dumb. You're so dumb that you voted for the president. They really do revile you. A few suggestions, okay? Number one, no more no-bid contracts, okay? No more. Just only open bid contracts where everyone can bid to try and improve government efficiency. Guarantee you there are plenty of companies out there who could do a better job on, again, point to any project, point to any service. Yes. Number two, performance-based research. Look, we may or may not learn some stuff regarding shrimp when we put them on a treadmill in cold and slightly warmer water, but you have to prove that it has, to some degree, helped save humanity. Otherwise, you pay for it yourself. And number three, an at-will firing policy. We need that in government. No more people who are installed. That's the swamp, the Faucis of the world. Fauci would have been fired anywhere else in the private sector for his performance on AIDS. This is a man who said that a child could catch AIDS in his house with his parents from touching the same objects, cereal boxes, whatever the hell it was. You need to be able to fire people like that. People get into government, and then it's just a matter of how much of a raise they get that outpaces the private sector. And by the way, it also sometimes makes the private sector incapable of competing. So no more closed bid contracts, only open bid government contracts, performance-based research. You have to prove how you have benefited this country and our citizens specifically, and an at-will firing policy. That's a starting base.
Yeah, I like it.
Also, government should be springing to buy everyone a premium subscription to Gerald's OnlyFans.
Wait, what?
Yep. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
That is not real.
I don't want to have to pay for that anymore.
It's educational and disgusting.
Oh, it's free, actually.
Hey, if you liked this video, you can comment or hit like. And you know what? Because you and I were a lot alike. Probably like dogs. I like dogs. If you like cats, I don't want you here. I'm not making videos for cat people. I told you, if you're a cat, I don't want you here. I'm not doing it. Not doing it for cat people. Dog person, click there. Cat person,